Is the nightmare over? Is the pain all about to end for Sheffield Wednesday fans? Some significant news yesterday about the possible transition of Sheffield Wednesday away from the beleaguered, befuddled owner, Mr Chansiri, and towards a new future, a new dawn. Get your thoughts in via the comments on the latest at Sheffield Wednesday, and I suppose I'd better tell you exactly what that is. This is our friend again. I'm going to call him Rob Staten this time. Apparently, that's his preferred pronunciation of that name. The hyacinth bouquet of this story. I just keep up the great work, Rob. He's clearly got his ear to the ground on this. And he told us yesterday on Twitter, per sources, understand an agreement has been reached with at least one prospective buyer. We think, according to the Sheffield Star, there's actually more than one now, as this rumbled on yesterday. For Sheffield Wednesday, believe documents were out for signing yesterday, and at least one buyer has signed theirs. And Rob adds, this doesn't mean a deal is done, but the process is moving. And I suppose the big thing as well is all of this means the process is moving away from Mr Chansiri. Do we go backwards in the story or do we go forwards in the story? Let's just kind of try and lay this out. We know the problem Sheffield Wednesday have had. We know we'd got to the point with late payments and non-payments and etc., etc. We land in the close season, probably due to PSR deadlines and reportings and information either going to the EFL or not going to the EFL. Problems arising, trouble ahead. Sanctions were then laid down on Sheffield Wednesday. A 3-window transfer fee restriction, which is basically a soft transfer embargo, which seems the EFL's pinch point now on, right, okay, this is the first thing we're going to do to try and get control of this situation. Obviously, we've had the normal emotional but fairly honest quotes from Mr Chansiri, and then talks of bids being rejected for the club. He's been fairly open that he's happy to sell it and he's going to obviously take a massive hit financially on it, but I just think he's at the point of no return now, Mr Chansiri, isn't it? And then there was this idea that he was completely overvaluing it and he wanted this down payment for whatever reason. And at that point, and I think this is the good news for Sheffield Wednesday fans, it was then announced, or understood rather, that always seems to be the word used in these situations, that independent brokers were being brought in. And that's going to kind of go down as a really important moment, because that was actually Mr Chansiri, maybe someone just saying to him, look, just get these guys to do it, pay them 1% on the back end of the sale. They will do this for you. They will get the best deal. You just want, no effect, I'm going to say, you just want shot of it now. I know it's a great institution and a football club. That's how Chansiri is going to be looking at it. And I think the moment things come out of this beleaguered, I don't want to insult the guy. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose a ton of money, but it's not been good, has it? This beleaguered buffoonery is going to end. And it looks like these people, whoever the brokers are, have been doing a good job. And I assume they've been shopping it around. And the headline's going to be, quick sale required. Can you come in and take what is essentially now a distressed asset with sanctions against it? Obviously, there's lots of issues to resolve. But can you come in, make the offer for this football club, which, by the way, is in the EFL Championship. And here I go with one of my great cliches, where you're only ever one season away. There is no mid-table in the Championship. Avoid relegation. The next phase up is a playoff challenge. Win 3 games in the playoffs. And there is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that poor old Mr Chansiri had been chasing all along, and has not done a very clever job of that. And he was close back in the day, but since then it's been a disaster and lots of money lost, lots of fallings out, lots of bad moments. And is it time to end it all Is it all over, and is it a bright new dawn now for Sheffield Wednesday? Obviously, we got the news a couple of days ago. We should have kind of smelled something was on the horizon, and I'll link my video about Danny Roll returning at the end of this one. And yeah, with hindsight, that was probably a signal. Oh, okay. They've managed to persuade the want-away manager to come back, and you can have your views on, whether he's handled himself correctly. In fact, there's a poll on the community tab on the Benjamin Bloom Football channel if you do want to have your views on that. But it was probably an indication that something was happening. So probably Danny Roll had been told, right, these brokers are in, there's these interested parties, and it looks like the first step of the club having new owners is happening. And I suppose, again, I'll reiterate, the most important step, if you view it as like we're here and we need to get to here, the real important step is Mr Chansiri saying, right, brokers, do your thing. Obviously, he's got to have the final say. I suppose the final F off to the Wednesday fans would be he'll make a big fuss about signing the agreements when presumably they've all been agreed by all the parties and the brokers and whatnot. Then it all goes into due diligence, which appears where we're heading. And then maybe over here, Sheffield Wednesday can have new owners and things can move forward in a little bit more of a positive way. It feels like we're on the right road. Who are the people? Joe Cran on the Sheffield Star is talking about UK, US, and interest from Monaco. Mr. Rob Staten as well also added a further tweet saying, here we go, another pronunciation. This should be easy, more difficult than Staten. Francesco Guardacione. Any Italians? Give me some feedback on that one. Heading up a consortium pursuing a purchase of Sheff Wed. So there's loads of course there's going to be people interested in this. You're thinking you're going to be able to get a club for, Chansiri wanted this much money, I don't know, like over 100 million. I think it's going to be more like 40, 50 million, and we'll see. Look, if these brokers can generate a bit of a bidding war, it's one thing getting them in the door by saying, distressed asset, going cheap, one division away from the Premier League. And then if you can get into a bit of a bidding war and jack the price up a bit. Although, really, that only really benefits Mr Chansiri, so I'm sure the Wednesday fans won't really care about that. I'm sure many of you would have seen John Textor, the former minority owner of Crystal Palace, very front and centre in the British media. Was it 2 days ago with Simon Jordan and Jim White on TalkSport? Why would John Textor be putting himself front and centre to English football fans? Yes, he was talking about the issue at Crystal Palace with them being manoeuvred from the Europa League to the Conference League or the other way around. I don't understand. Give me the Cup Winners' Cup and the UEFA Cup that my club gloriously won back in 1981. But come on. Look, Textor's there putting himself into the media and into the conversation, and then we're hearing, oh, there's been bids accepted for Sheffield Wednesday, and I don't know, there seems to have been this thing with him and Simon Jordan where Textor's obviously given Jordan carte blanche to say that they're friends, report stuff back, and Jordan has been saying as well, I think Sheffield Wednesday would be a good purchase, and I think Jim White asked him direct, are you interested in Sheffield Wednesday? And his answer intimated to me that he's probably put in a bid or is one of the bidders or has had his bid accepted. I think there's a gentleman whose name I don't know who owns a baseball, NFL, basketball franchise in the US as well. And look, that's just been the thing of the last 4 or 5 years. I'm an Ipswich fan. We're now owned by a hedge fund, kind of pension fund in the United States. Obviously, Birmingham are making all hell of a racket in the Championship with their American owners, Knighthead Capital. It does feel like the American money is taking over English football. You can tell me whether that's a bad thing or a good thing, but don't hate the player, hate the game, and you might just have to join the game. And have yourself some American money into the bargain. So that could be a thing as well. We've got these people from Monaco interested. I know nothing other than it says on the Sheffield Star, a Monaco consortium. This Francesco Guardacione as well. So I assume that's another different consortium. Basically, there's loads of people interested. Bids are being accepted. I guess it all goes into this. It's very complex, isn't it? It's essentially a multi-million pound business changing hands. So you would like to think, I'm sure many of you have been through a house purchase, and I'm sure we've all sat there and gone, hang on a minute, right? If I got you, and you all around the table, we could do this in an hour, couldn't we? But the issue is that it's the legal documentation and all of that stuff. I'm sure they have teams of lawyers powered by caffeine all thumbing through massive loads of documentation. We could get AI to do that now, couldn't we? Speed things up. But it does look like that's all going to be happening in due course. And it looks vaguely positive for those Sheffield Wednesday fans. And look, we'll always get a spiteful minority that want to indulge in Schadenfreude, and for whatever reason that is meaningful to them, they want other football clubs to collapse because it makes them feel nice about their life. I think generally football fans want to see the most even playing field you can get, everybody to have a reasonably trustworthy owner, and for them all to fight it out in the best of British, and we have a lovely football pyramid. Obviously, in the words of John Lennon, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. But I think the general feeling is that we'd like the Mr Chansiri era to be over at Sheffield Wednesday, and how many videos have I done on this bloody channel now about non-payments, about points deductions, weird press conferences, managers being sacked, Darren Moore and Cisco Munoz. And then even going back into the COVID stuff, stadium sales. What did Kieran Maguire report? Taxi companies that, were interesting in their background story. I'll say no more, being creditors or payers to the club. Stadium sale money being put in the wrong year, deducted points and relegated with the deduction. It's been a laundry list since that playoff final defeat against Haaland. That's going to be the sliding doors moment, isn't it? The Mr Chansiri era all goes back to losing to Hull in the playoff final, which tells you everything you need to know about English football. That you just have these crazy climbs and cliff edges and chasms, and if you're on the right side, as Mick McCarthy said, you're inside the tent, peeing out, everything's okay. But if you're just on the right side, on the wrong side, peeing in, you got a problem. And Mr Chansiri's had a problem for the last basically decade, hasn't he? Or best part of a decade since then. But it looks like it's close to ending. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on things moving in a positive direction for a buffoonery-laden era at Sheffield Wednesday too. And look, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to cross my fingers. Plenty of Wednesday subscribers here. I just hope it gets done soon. And I can talk about Sheffield Wednesday football players kicking a ball around rather than nonsense off the pitch. As I said, I will link you up there. That is my video on Danny Roll. That's an interesting debate. People were quite split on that. I was like, is this good news for Sheffield Wednesday's coming back? And a lot of people said, I don't know if he's handled himself in the best way. So get your views in over there. And also get your views on a possible move forward to new ownership at Hillsborough.